Hello and a very good afternoon to all of our kind viewers. Alright, so first and foremost, I would like to wish a very warm and virtual welcome to MAHSA University. I hope you're having a great day. Alright, so for today, my topic is very simple, and to say I have a very simple talk that I would like to share with you. So my topic for today is basically simple communication for an easy life. Okay. So when we talk about simple communication, how simple is simple? Okay. So I'm going to share with you three very simple tips on how we can have simple communication, which will, I believe, will help you to run along on our daily routines in a very simple and easy manner. Okay. So let's look at tip number one. So in order to have simple communication, what must we do? All right. Number one is we have to keep it simple. So what does it mean to have simple communication, or what does it mean to keep it simple? Basically, the choices of words that we use, or even the phrases that we tend to convey, try not to make it too complicated, okay? So what I mean by complicated is that, of course, it's nice to use like bombastic words or bombastic phrases because it tends to catch the eye, right? But sometimes it can do, I would say, lesser than what it should do. So let me share a story with you. This is something that I heard. So basically, two friends were having a simple conversation, and friend A was sharing his experience with friend B. So during this sharing session that they were having, friend A mentioned the word flabbergasted, and he was saying how flabbergasted he was. So when friend B heard this term or this word, basically he stopped for a moment and his focus drifted away from this conversation because he was actually thinking, what does flabbergasted mean? So at the end of that particular conversation that they were having, friend B asked friend A, hey, your story was really nice and I enjoyed hearing it. Thanks for sharing. But I mentioned you used the word flabbergasted. What does that mean? So friend A mentioned, flabbergasted actually means surprised. So friend B said, thank you so much. I actually learned a new word today. However, if you're going to say that you were surprised, why not just say surprised? Why did you have to use the term flabbergasted? So when this happens, of course it sounds fancy and really bombastic and I would say really soothing to the ears. But don't you realize that there's a little bit of interruption in the conversation that is going on? So in terms of having simple communication, I believe it's best to use words or phrases that are rather simple to avoid misunderstanding or to avoid complications in a particular conversation. Alright? So tip number two, as much as we speak, it is also very important to listen. So I strongly believe that we should listen more than we speak. So why is it important to listen more than we speak? Number one, it's because when we listen, we actually get a lot of information or messages that are non-verbal. So this includes knowing the speaker's intentions, knowing their emotions, understanding what is it that they're trying to convey. All these are also important when it comes to communication. It's not just what we speak, but at the same time, it's about what we hear as well. So to avoid misunderstandings or avoid the lack of information that is being transferred, it is definitely important to have active listening or, as I mentioned, listen more than we speak. Alright, so this leads us to our third and final tip. So although it's the last, but I would say it's certainly not the least. Why? Because I think that the third and final tip is the most valuable tip when it comes to having simple communication. Alright. So what is this tip or what is this valuable tip? Basically, in every communication or conversation that we have, don't just add a pinch, but add a handful of kindness to the people that we're talking with or the people that we're communicating with. So what can kindness do? What can the act of kindness do? Trust me, it can do wonders. And when I mean wonders is, it definitely helps us in having simple communication and I would say easy communication. When we add phrases or when we use phrases like good morning, good afternoon, or if we ask someone, how are you, or I hope you're having a good day, or even if it's just as easy as giving someone a compliment like, hey, I like your shirt, or hey, your shoes look great. Words or phrases like these will allow us to have good relationships with the people around, whether it's classmates, colleagues, or even just people that we pass by daily. So when this happens, when we have good rapport or good relationship with the people around us, it will allow us to have easier communication in the sense that we wouldn't feel so hesitant when it comes to asking a question or even just transferring information. So when we have a good relationship, it makes our communication a lot easier in the sense that we wouldn't feel too intimidated by them, and we know that they are friendly to approach. And at the same time, they will also know that we are friendly to approach. So when it comes to communication, it's not just about having one-to-one talk, or it's not just about exchanging knowledge or information, but it's also about the bond that we create. So trust me, it's very important, and I believe that with the act of kindness, communication or conversations will be a lot more easier, and it wouldn't put a lot of stress on us as well. Okay? So when we talk about simple communication, this is all that we need to do. Apart from having formal communication or communication that needs a lot of work, just simple everyday communication can be very simple, and it can be very easy if we follow these 3 tips. Okay, so here you have it, 3 main and simple tips for simple communication on a daily basis. So I hope these tips help you, and I wish everyone watching a happy Easter, a happy Sunday, and also a great weekend ahead. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.